So it's like, sounds like a good idea, but the practical application of it and the looking forward part of it, it's a bad idea. And that's why we need to avoid those things. We certainly need to know that that's what we're eating. And right now, there's all these bills in front of Congress, there's the blackout bills, where we will never know if something is genetically modified or not. And we at least deserve to know. And let the market determine if GMO foods are something that we need to sustain by buying them or avoid, and they'll eventually go away if nobody buys them.
Right.
But the Monsantos and the Pioneers and all the big food seed producers, chemical producers, when the people that make the chemicals also make the seeds, we got a problem, right?
And you know, they say, oh, there's much higher yield, da-da-da-da. Studies have shown that that's not true. We're getting more yield out of proper soil rejuvenation than we are these infertile fields that we're creating.
I've heard that, yeah.
Something else that you may not know, GM seeds, I'm not sure if all of them, but a lot of them, only produce life with the first generation. So recently Monsanto's gone into India. Said, oh, we have this seed, it's going to take care of all your problems. The Indian farmers have been planting it. We've seen Sam, right?
Yeah.
Sam told us that that regions are now seeing cancer clusters come up from where they're using the Roundup and the GMO seeds. But on top of it, their farmers are creating suicide because they're not seeing higher yields. The seed only produces life with that first bag. After that season, I have to go back to Monsanto, buy more. Oh, great business plan, right? They can't use the seeds from the plant. They're going bankrupt. And they're killing themselves. Any questions on that?
No.
We have a big soapbox there for that one.
Yeah.
But it's really scary.
Oh, I know.
You know,
Both my parents are really into like steering us away from all that kind of stuff.
When you go in the grocery store,
all that stuff before.
you know not to buy the 5-pound bag of M&Ms because you know that's bad for you.
Right.
So you go to the produce department and you pick up some fresh vegetables, like, yes. But when they're,
The M&M's
you don't know. Hey, yeah.
People
Yeah.
machine in the bag here, so you just buy. That's why I love that we got Sprouts nearby, Whole Foods, all those places.
And there's a new one going in over there behind the avenues,
Earth Fair.
Earth Fair. Which
Oh,
I've never
yeah,
been in
yeah.
one, but apparently they're pretty cool too.
They're cool. I used to go to one when I lived in Nashville. They're really big. They're kind of like Whole Foods, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, buying local. Right down 141 here, you get down to the very end, Kelly Mill to Drew Campground.
Mhm.
That's where Fieldstone is, right?
Yeah.
Or Kelly Mill area right there.
Yeah.
Off of Post.
Off the post. Back down in there, there's King Creek Farm. You can go to their website. They have a CSA, which is Community Supported Agriculture. You buy a share for a season. You go there every week. You pick up whatever they produce. Whatever's in season, you're going to get, but now I remember, kohlrabi was what I was trying to think of the other day. Never used it before. Used it due to the CSA. Eggplant, peppers, whatever they grow. Good option to be local and organic. Like we said, the less time from the ground to your plate, the better. Carlton Farms, I'm not sure where the farm is, but they have drop-off points all over Metro Atlanta. You go on their website, you place the order, you go to the pickup site at a certain time, you pick up whatever you need. They have grass-fed beef, you can buy a quarter of a cow from them, you can buy eggs, you can buy raw milk, you can buy vegetables. Coming Local Harvest, even better. This is a website that has Wednesday and Saturday pickups. It's a co-op with all the farms in the area. You go online, you see what they have, you see what prices are. Tons of farms with eggs. You go, you place your order, you pick it up Wednesday or Saturday. And the prices are decent. You know that the food was local. You know exactly how far it's coming. The eggs are amazing.
Just the eggs. Do you eat eggs?
Oh yeah.
It's like once you eat these kind of eggs, you just like, the yolks are orange, and when you crack it into the skillet, they maintain a spherical, they're so like firm. Instead of just this pale yellow, flat pancake looking yolk, it's like this, it's strange at first, but man, those things, they're just so much better, and they're loaded. those yolks are absolutely loaded with all types of nutrients that you're not gonna get. All these people are still, you hear them I travel a little bit, and they're at the omelet bar at the hotel, oh, we get an egg white omelet. They think, all our talk about cholesterol, all our talk about all these other things, they think they're doing something proper for their health, when actually the yolk's the part that you're supposed to eat, that's the best part.
And it tastes better, you can taste the difference too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Less time, great ground to play, you're supporting the local economy, that's huge. Proper seasonal veggies, shouldn't really be getting blueberries in January.
Yeah.
And you get to know the farmers and their practices. You can go to the farm, you can actually see what they're doing. You're not just taking it by a little label on the shelf of the grocery store, organic. Yeah, who knows, it could be around.
and the environmental impact of local is much more sustainable. How much of the cost of a quart of blueberries is it that it's coming from Peru to here? How much fuel is burned? If you're really thinking about all that
Right.
stuff, some people don't give two wits about that stuff. I personally do, and I think if it only had to come from the other side of the county for me to get it, then that's better than it coming from the other side of the world, even if the price is the same.
So supplements. A lot of the stuff that we've covered so far, this has been a nutrient that we're deficient in. Anybody who has muscle spasms, if you ever got muscle spasms, or possibly migraines, you're probably deficient in magnesium. From a supplement standpoint, other than your probiotics, these are the 4 that I highly recommend. They all have a synergistic effect with each other, specifically these 3. Vitamin D, I take 20,000 units a day. I work in an office, I don't get to go outside as much. Vitamin D is actually not a vitamin, it's actually a steroidal hormone that's used to unlock and lock genes, and it's a huge immune booster, and we're all pretty much deficient in it. I mean, what do they tell you? Oh, you're going out in the sun, put sunscreen on your kids. No, let your kid get 30 minutes to an hour, then put the sunscreen on. Potassium. Let me jump to calcium actually. Vitamin D helps absorb calcium, okay? Problem with calcium, if you take too much vitamin D, it leaches it into your blood. That's where potassium comes in. You want to take a complex K, and excuse me, there's several different types of K, so that's why you want a complex one. I think K2 is one of the more important ones. But what K does is it tells your body where to stick the calcium. It says, take that calcium, put it in my bones, put it in my teeth. If you're low on potassium, that's when calcium's an issue, because it's in your blood and it's causing issues with like cardiovascular disease, things of that nature. So you definitely want to have the potassium to tell your body where to use it. Magnesium also comes into play with this, and like I said, due to the things that we've talked about, you're probably deficient in magnesium because it gets depleted with a lot of things that we do.
It also helps with recovery from exercise. Have you ever taken an Epsom salt bath?
Yeah.
Magnesium sulfate.
Okay.
You absorb the magnesium into your skin. How good did you sleep after your Epsom salt bath?
Pretty well.
There's actually a supplement you can take called Natural Calm, and it's a magnesium.
I know exactly which one you use.
So magnesium is something that you don't hardly ever hear about it, but suddenly you realize it's in a whole bunch of stuff that we find
Yeah.
extremely helpful for what we do here.
Yeah, and so some athletes, I've tried to take it. I'm just not. I take most of my supplements in the morning. I often forget about ZMA because you take it before bed. But this is good for athletes for recovery. Zinc, magnesium. I forget what the last one was. Available. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the last one is. Something you might be interested in looking up. It's a theory. It's not been proven. Human hibernation syndrome. So the theory is when we get less vitamin D, mainly in winter, our body wants to store more fat. Okay, it's like a defense mechanism. But since we're always low in vitamin D, we're always in this human hibernation mode. So we're a little more tired, we don't have as much energy, we're probably storing a little more fat. So that's why I take as much vitamin D as I do. I take the K, that makes sure that the calcium, that the vitamin D is not causing any issues. I take the high amounts of vitamin D. I'm not gonna recommend that for everybody, but for me, that's what works. Matt takes 5,000. I think that's a good number. The 400 that we recommend is absolutely abysmal. You're not getting much effect from that. So I would recommend around 4,000 to 5,000 at the very least.
Next time you go have a physical, you can ask to check your vitamin D levels.
Okay.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
D3, there's different vitamin Ds as well. D3 is the one you want to supplement.
Okay.
But you can have that as part of your, you might have to pay a few extra bucks because your insurance may not cover it, but it's worth knowing what
Sure, yeah.
what your levels
Yeah,
are.
so mine was at like the very top of the scale.
Then you can supplement accordingly.
Okay.
So yeah, if you're deficient in calcium, if you're deficient in vitamin K, calcium goes to places you don't want, organs, joint spaces, arteries, instead of your bones. Vitamin D toxicity is actually caused by potassium deficiency and not due to too much vitamin D. Magnesium deficiency, muscle spasm, facial tics, anxiety, asthma, migraines.
One other supplement I'll add to this list is fish oil, good quality fish oil. Basically what most of Americans don't eat enough natural sources of omega-3 fatty acids. Great sources of omega-3 fatty acids, salmon, wild caught salmon, etc. Sardines, halibut, all that stuff. Oh, look at that. It's like we planned it. But we don't really, maybe on Friday if you eat some fish, we don't eat near enough fish, so you gotta get that from somewhere. So good quality source of omega-3 fatty acids. We get way too much omega-6 fatty acids from the vegetable oils that we consume. You need omega-6 also, but
You need a good
you
ratio.
need a good ratio of omega-3 and omega-6. Omega-3 is a potent anti-inflammatory. So if we are dealing with some systemic inflammation, keeping a good level of omega-3 is going to help calm some of that down. And it's just take a couple of capsules in the morning. You could buy the little omega red, the krill oil. The pills are smaller. Some people like that. You can buy ones that you don't burp up sardine breath 2 hours after you take it. You got to play around with it, but just make sure it's a good, clean source and it's not packed in soy oil. There's a lot of them, they put the stuff in soy oil. You want to avoid those.
Right.
You're going to pay a little more for it, but
So if you buy sardines, you want to look, make sure it's not packed in canola oil. You want olive oil or water. If you can take the taste of sardines, or if you like to taste sardines, highly recommend because they have the lowest levels of mercury. Sardines are a good full food alternative to taking fish oil.
anchovies, those cold water.
Yeah, the
Fish.
small ones.
Yep.
So we're just going to wrap up now. The last one that we're going to talk about, which I'm not going to put anything on the board, is inflammatory foods. We're just going to point out a couple here, which you probably already know most of them, but gluten, dairy, peanuts, soy, corn, nightshades may be an issue for some people, so that's your tomatoes, that's your peppers. I hate that one. I hate that one because I love all those. But if you have arthritis, you should probably try to cut out nightshades and see if that helps. Coffee, sugar, alcohol, no brainers there.
Vegetable oil.
Vegetable oil, yeah. And that wraps it up. So do you have any more questions for us? Or?
Yeah, is there a good resource to actually find the paleo list, I guess, because that's pretty broad?
Yeah,
There's the
Well,
board right there has
yeah.
some stuff on there.
Oh, okay.
There's a million different books. The kind of the Bible for paleo is Rob Wolf's book, Paleo Solution, or the Paleo Diet.
I think there's a copy out here in
Oh,
the library.
Yeah, well, take one of those and read. That's a great starting point. Most of my knowledge has not come from those books. It's come from listening to podcasts where there's a lot more content and a lot more in-depth discussion about various things. But if you're just looking for a basic guide, a lot of those things came from Diane Sanfilippo's book, which is really, really good. It gets into a lot of the nightshade issues. If you have autoimmune issues, you want to avoid more of those foods. It gets into FODMAPs and all these types of.
I'll send you a link to her book. It's great. And then I'll send you a couple paleo pantry lists.
Okay, great.
I'll send it to you on Facebook.
Appreciate it, yeah.